Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you share, unpack them, and really try to pull out the key insights for you, minus all the noise.
Yeah, cutting through it. And today we're looking at Dallas. Specifically, its roots, how parks were baked into its original design, and, well, what's happening now with park funding. It's quite a discussion.
We've got some interesting stuff to go through. News articles from candysdirt.com, D Magazine, NBC5, Dallas Free Press, KERA.
Mm-hmm. And a YouTube transcript from Dallas and Fuego, which offers, let's say, a different angle. Plus, really importantly, the original Kessler City plan for Dallas. That's the bedrock here.
Right. So our mission, twofold, really. First, get a handle on how Central Parks were to Dallas's early planning, especially Kessler's vision.
Absolutely.
And second, really dig into these current debates about park funding, specifically these dedication fees and, what cutting them might actually mean. Okay, let's get into it.
So the Kessler Plan, we're talking early 1900s. It wasn't the first attempt at planning, but it was really comprehensive. It came out in 1911 and laid down a serious blueprint for Dallas.
And parks weren't just like an add-on, they were fundamental to this plan.
Oh, completely central. Kessler wasn't just thinking about isolated green spots. He envisioned a whole system, connecting parks with parkways and an outer boulevard network. Think green corridors.
Okay, like Turtle Creek Parkway we see today, that came from this.
Exactly. That's a direct descendant.
Yeah.
He also proposed a major boulevard for West Dallas. Same idea, linking things up.
So these parkways, they had a job to do beyond just looking nice.
Definitely. Kessler was quite clear on this. He saw these green connections as crucial for, well, orderly city growth, for boosting property values, a big factor, and just for the general well-being of the people.
Right.
He even specifically pointed to White Rock Lake, the reservoir, and said, essentially, make this a public park. And, well, look at it today.
Wow. What else? Any other specific park ideas in the plan?
Yeah, he really pushed for acquiring land for smaller neighborhood parks, especially in the denser parts of the city. Accessibility was key for him.
Making sure people could actually get to a park easily.
Precisely. He mentioned something called Park Row, which was apparently a string of small existing parks, and he proposed new ones too, like at Wall Street and Grand Avenue, Monument Triangle, Maple Avenue Park, Turner Place.
It sounds incredibly thought out, not just random parks dotted around.
Exactly. He explicitly linked parks and parkways to city growth and, like I said, property values. It was a practical vision, not just aesthetics. He even got into the details like proper tree planting and care as part of the whole beautification effort. It was holistic.
Okay, so that's the historical foundation. Fast forward to now. Is there still a push for parks in Dallas?
It seems so, yeah.
Right.
Mayor Johnson has certainly made parks a talking point, and we've seen action, like the big improvements approved for Roland G. Parrish Park.
Right, I saw that. That's in District 4.
Yep, 25 acres, a $10 million investment in an area that's been, historically underserved. Funding came from the Equity Fund, Infrastructure Investment Fund, and a private donation, too.
That's significant and good to see investments spread out. Weren't there smaller parks mentioned too? Pocket parks?
Correct. A smaller one, about 9,000 square feet, got the green light in North Oak Cliff. That's near Sunset Hill, East Hampton Hills Council member Chad West's district.
Okay. And this fits into a bigger goal, right? About walkability.
Yeah, the city's stated aim is for everyone to be within a 10-minute walk of a park. They're at, 74% now, so still a ways to go.
And this Dallas Greening Initiative, that's part of closing that gap?
That's the idea. They just showed designs for the first 5 out of 15 planned new neighborhood parks. These are smaller pieces of land, mostly under 4 acres, aiming to bring that 10-minute walk access to thousands more people.
Where's the money coming from for those?
It's a mix. Federal money from the American Rescue Plan Act, plus grants from Lyda Hill Foundation and Meadows Foundation. And they made a point of getting community input on the designs, which is good to see.
Okay, so there's definite momentum on creating new park spaces, which makes this next part kind of jarring. This fight over Parkland dedication fees. Let's unpack that. What are these fees exactly?
Okay, so Parkland dedication fees.
Yeah.
Basically, when developers build new homes or apartments, the city often requires them to contribute to parks. Instead of setting aside actual land within their development, which can be tough in dense areas, they can pay a fee instead.
A fee in lieu sort of thing.
Exactly. And that money is supposed to be used by the city to buy land for parks or improve existing ones, ideally near where the new development is happening.
Got it. And how much does this bring in for Dallas currently?
Right now, it's around $3 million a year.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, but,
Right.
but it gets divided up. Dallas splits that money across 7 different zones. So by the time each zone gets its share, it's often not enough to buy significant chunks of land, especially with how land prices have gone up.
Ah, okay. Spread too thin.
Yeah, and this is where the controversy really kicks in. The City Plan Commission, the CPC, they advise the council on zoning, land use, all that.
Right.
They recently voted to recommend cutting these fees, not just trimming them, cutting them by 50%, half.
Wow. 50%. Why? What's their argument?
Their main argument is affordable housing. They believe reducing these fees lowers costs for developers, and the hope or claim is that developers will pass those savings on, leading to lower rents,
Yeah.
making housing more affordable.
Okay. I mean, more affordable housing is definitely something the city needs. But what do the park advocates say? The Parks and Rec Board.
They are very strongly opposed, to put it mildly. They argue that slashing these fees would cripple their ability to buy land for new parks, just as the city is growing and needs more green space, not less.
It seems like it directly undermines that 10-minute walk goal, doesn't it?
That's exactly their point. They see it as completely contradictory. And John Jenkins, the parks director, he even pointed out that they didn't put much money for land acquisition in the 2024 bond package, specifically because they were counting on these dedication fees.
So cutting the fees leaves a big hole in their funding plan.
A huge hole, potentially. Now, adding another layer here, there was actually talk of increasing the fees, wasn't there? Something about a state law.
Yes, right. HB 1526. This Texas law lets big cities like Dallas charge park fees up to a certain cap based on median income. It works out to about $1,300 per new unit for Dallas.
Okay.
And the Parks Department staff and another committee called ZIOAC Zoning Ordinance Advisory Committee, they actually supported a new fee schedule that would have effectively increased what developers pay, moving closer to that state cap. They argued it's needed to fund future parks.
So park staff wanted to increase fees, but the Plan Commission voted to cut them in half.
Exactly. And one plan commissioner, Christian Chernock from District 1, he argued against the staff's proposed increase. His point was that even that increase would raise construction costs, which he believes gets passed straight to renters, making housing less affordable.
So you have a Plan Commissioner arguing lower fees help affordability, directly contradicting the Parks Board, who say the fees are essential for parks everyone needs. And Commissioner Chernock, isn't he involved in development himself?
That connection has certainly been pointed out in the discussions, raising questions about potential conflicts when development interests intersect with city planning decisions.
Right. It puts the whole debate in a different light, potentially. It really frames it as a clash. Development incentives versus long-term public green space.
And there are rules about how this fee money can be spent, right? It has to stay local.
Supposedly, yes. The funds collected in a zone are meant for parks in that zone. And if the city doesn't spend the money within 10 years, they actually have to refund it to the developer.
Interesting. So what happens next with this fee fight?
Well, the Parks and Rec Board has made it clear they're not backing down. They plan to lobby the city council members hard to reject the Plan Commission's recommendation to cut the fees.
They see it as fundamental to the park system's future.
Absolutely. They feel it undoes years of work. The city council can overturn the CPC's decision, but they need a supermajority, a 3/4 vote, to do it. So it'll be a tough political battle.
It really throws into sharp relief this tension between development pressures and, well, the original vision of Dallas, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it makes you think, how does a city like Dallas, growing so fast, handle this? Balancing the need for housing, obviously critical, with preserving and expanding green space, which Kessler saw as vital from the start.
Yep.
These fees are right in the middle of that tug of war.
Now, just to add context, we also noted the Forward Dallas 2.0 plan discussions. How does that fit in? There were concerns about housing density, right?
Yeah, the Forward Dallas talks, especially the pushback from some single-family neighborhoods about allowing more multifamily housing, that definitely provides background. It shows just how intense the pressure is around land use, density, and development in the city.
Right.
Even though they reached a compromise, it highlights that constant negotiation between growth and existing neighborhood character.
Yeah.
And of course, available land for parks is directly tied into all those land use decisions. It's all connected.
Okay, and one last piece here, potentially a bit tangential, but it involves a council member whose district is getting one of these new pocket parks, Chad West. There were some questions raised about campaign expenses. What's the basic story there?
Right, so a YouTube video surfaced that scrutinizes some of Councilmember West's campaign finance reports. It flags expenditures listed under things like contract labor, travel out of district, specifically mentioning trips to Florida and certain places visited there, and also supplies bought from a male bathhouse.
Oh,
The video raises the question. It alleges that these might constitute personal use of campaign funds, which wouldn't be allowed under Texas law. Now, it's crucial to stress, these are allegations in a video.
right, not findings of fact.
Exactly. The Texas Ethics Commission would be the authority to investigate and decide if any rules were broken. The video basically frames it as a question of fiscal responsibility for an elected official who oversees city funds. While it's separate from the park fee debate itself, it involves a decision-maker relevant to city policy, including parks in his district.
Got it. So, bringing it all back, Dallas clearly has this deep history, this foundation built around parks, thanks to Kessler's vision. He saw them as integral, not optional.
Absolutely. Fundamental building blocks.
Mhm.
And we see echoes of that vision in today's efforts to increase park access, the greening initiative of these new neighborhood parks.
And it's a big but. This fight over the Parkland dedication fees puts a huge question mark over the future. You have the push to maybe ease things for developers, possibly helping housing affordability.
Or so the argument goes.
Right. Versus the Parks Board saying, hold on, if you cut this funding, you're gutting our ability to deliver on that green space promise, the very thing Kessler envisioned, especially when developer influence on city commissions is being questioned.
It's a direct conflict.
Yeah.
And it really forces a hard look at priorities. The Parks Board is clearly worried that the long-term vision, the foundational idea of Dallas as a city with accessible green space, could be sacrificed for short-term development goals.
So as you listening, think about Dallas's roots designed around parks, and you see the city booming today. The question becomes, how should Dallas manage this? How do you balance that very real need for development and housing with this equally vital historical commitment to green space for everyone?
And critically, what role should these Parkland dedication fees play in striking that balance? Are they a fair way to ensure development contributes to the infrastructure everyone benefits from, including parks? Or are they an obstacle to affordability? It's the central question right now. Definitely something to chew on.